It's something that we all dream about when we work for a company. You're in a rat race and you wonder what it would be like to run your own company, to be your own boss. Well, you're probably excited by that prospect, but also scared. You don't really know what kind of challenges lie ahead, and as a result, it probably stops us from doing just that. This week on CASS Talks, I'm joined by David Mellor, who is a visiting lecturer here at CASS Business School. And this is actually an experience that you went through yourself. You left your life as a corporate banker in the city and started your own business.
Yeah, that's right. In 2001, my first day in business on my own was the Monday of the week of 9/11. So I thought, what on earth have I done?
Great timing.
My first client was in Manhattan as well. But yeah, I'd worked latterly in venture capital at Deutsche Bank, and I'd got an appreciation of what a successful small business looked like, and I'd had great fun being a non-exec director on some of our investments, and decided that my affinity with the little guy was growing greater than my affinity for the big gorilla whose investment I was protecting. So I engineered my own departure in 2001 and have spent the last 10 years mentoring aspiring entrepreneurs.
And you obviously found it challenging enough that you felt like a book should be written about it. It's called From Crew to Captain, which was published last summer.
Yeah, that's right. The book is the one I really wish had existed back in 2001, because it would have saved me wasting a lot of time, energy, money, and making a whole load of mistakes. So I thought I wanted to give something back. So the book is very much an aid memoir for anyone who is either contemplating setting up their own business or has started and maybe had a false start, just to help point them in the right direction.
And what kind of lessons did you feel that you could have been taught to help you along in running your own new business?
I think looking back, if I had my time again, I would have enlisted the help of a mentor much earlier, because it's very useful to have an arm's length impartial sounding board who tells you what you need to hear rather than what you think you want to hear. So it's like the biblical concept of tough love. They kind of tell it as it is. I also think that when you're bootstrapping something, as most people do, it's very easy to make false economies in terms of not surrounding yourself with quality. And I think it's really important that in every service provider you need to build the business, that you go for quality.
Obviously, the FTSE 100 companies, which are the publicly listed companies on the share markets, are the ones that often get all the attention, but they still only really make up about 20% of the British economy. So the other 80%, we're talking about small and medium-sized enterprises. And I guess for politicians like Prime Minister David Cameron, getting those going would be a key to getting the British economy going again.
I think it's really, really important, particularly as for a lot of these people, they're trying to move the business from being a lifestyle business that's literally funding their lifestyle to a value business that somebody else will want to buy, because quite often it's linked into their personal financial planning as their retirement nest egg. So if they can't create value in the business and the environment doesn't support that, then it's going to restrict their ability to actually retire. They're going to have to keep on working way beyond the date that they maybe would choose, because they can't engineer the sale.
Is that why you get serial entrepreneurs essentially running one business and then starting another, etc., etc.?
Well, I think the serial entrepreneurs, quite often, they're really good at starting a business, but then they either get bored or they're not particularly good at growing it, because it moves from having the idea, inspiring other people and getting it going, to then actually building and growing a team and taking it to the next level. And sometimes they're better going and starting again, because they find that more fun than actually, building up an empire as such.
But the challenge from moving from startup to essentially a more mature company, this is a great challenge for essentially individuals who often have no business studies.
And I think that one of the key things is that they have in terms of emotional intelligence, they have a very high level of self-awareness. So they know what they're capable of and what support they need. So I think Richard Branson is quite often quoted as a very good example, in that he wasn't afraid to surround himself with people that were smarter than him, so that he had a top quality team to help him grow the business. Quite often, entrepreneurs are reluctant to kind of share power with anybody else, which means they're potentially restricting or constraining their growth.
And one final question, obviously cash. It's probably the golden word for all entrepreneurs, but you believe that cash isn't always actually the reason why businesses fail?
Well, I think it's quite often said that the main reason small businesses fail is they run out of cash, which is 100% accurate but not particularly helpful. It's a bit like saying the patient died because he stopped breathing. Quite often the reason that they do run out of cash is that the person or persons that founded the business did not know as well as they needed to the business they were getting into, so they sort of went in eyes wide shut rather than eyes wide open. So I think you can't do enough research in terms of the market you're going into to make sure you are going into a market where you're a solution to a problem rather than a solution that's got to go find a problem and it's big enough for you to actually create the value business that you seek.
David Mellor, thank you very much.
Pleasure.